Welcome back. You guys are standing inside Leonard's office, discussing sort of your next plan of action. From what you can gather, your ritual roast will be pretty much allowed so long as you get permission from the Queen and the head of the investigation. Again, you don't have a name for this individual. You don't really remember what they looked like. Then again, you were passed out, blackout drunk when the group met him. Or rather, Tiberius, Frias, and Belua met them. But you've also been alerted that there is a hag that runs a small little curiosities and sort of reagent shop down on the main street of the Autumn District as well. Is there anything else anyone wants to discuss with Sire Leonhard as my cat knocks over my thermos?
Gremlin powers activated.
She wanted the drawer open again. Hey, what are you doing? But yeah, would you like to ask anything further of Sire Leonhard?
I think it'd be a good time to ask who his boss is.
So,
Or who's leading the investigation.
So,
It's up to you to ask. That is up to you to ask.
My brain is so far into the movie thing now.
No!
One question. The gentleman from yesterday,
Yes.
wouldn't have happened to have a name we could have for them.
Oh, yes. His name is Adelbrock Pendragon. Yes.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I think we already got that name.
Yeah,
No,
we
didn't.
did last session.
Oh, and
Because I spelled it out for you guys.
yeah. So you're going to stay here while Rose will get his things and we can talk to Mr. Pendragon at the castle with this letter?
Yes, make sure that he gets it.
She'll nod and she'll start for the door.
Okay. Anyone else?
Rose already said what they had to earlier.
Mm-hmm. Stop just trying to steal stuff from my drawer.
Just put a bed in the drawer. It's already too late.
Child aggro, meet cat aggro.
I don't know if you can hear any of that.
The light scrapings of wood, yes.
Yeah, that's what she's doing. She's trying to steal stuff from. She's trying to steal my glasses case.
You don't need to see.
But is anyone else going to ask Sire Leonard any questions, or are you guys all heading out?
I think we're heading out.
Okay. And of course, it's the exact same as it was when you first entered. There are several more people in the waiting room waiting for their numbers to be called. Don't really run into anything on the way out. Even out on the street, nothing really stands out. It's a case of it's almost like the state of the investigation. Nothing has changed. Everything seems to be at a standstill almost. Stop it! Stop it! I'm gonna close the drawer if you keep this up. Sorry.
Free cash.
It's essentially what's happening right now. Where do you plan to go from here?
I believe it's the Queen.
Then it's back to the castle, yeah.
Okay. So you guys are just gonna start heading to the castle?
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought we were going to get your supplies first, Rose.
Oh, right. I mean, if it would be on like on the way there, then yeah, Rose would
It
elect
is
to
not
stop.
on the way there, no.
Yeah, let's. In that case, Rose would elect to go to the castle first because they do have the letter drop off at least, and
Mhm.
do what they need to there, and then they'll get the supplies later.
Okay. So, who wants to roll me a 1d20?
Not me.
I will.
Okay. Along the way, heading toward the castle, it's about the same as it always has been. You don't get jumped this time, at least. There's no one trying to take away your coin purse, taking away your glasses case. Cat. Okay, that's it. You're getting out of the door.
No, Nova, no. I thought you loved me.
I do love you, Bella, but you're being a little thief. Yes, you. Anyway, as I was saying, as you begin heading down along the street, you notice that there is a few more stalls that have been they're starting to kind of prop up what looks to be market stalls along the way to the castle itself. Nothing is open, but it looks like they're setting up some sort of market, at least for the day. From what you can tell passing through, though, is that there's a lot of crates full of fresh vegetables and fruits that look a little odd.
How odd?
Give me a perception check.
But I'm Tiberius.
You asked how odd.
I'm asking out of character for those of us that have a good perception.
I was about to say Phrase would be curious about the oddities of.
Look with your eyes, Tiberius, your special eyes. God damn it, Tiberius.
I said
Tiberius.
I don't care, okay?
Yes, those fruits look like fruit. Sure, I'm sure the
Tiberius.
spikes are on them are fine. Rose,
Oh, that's just
it's fey fruit. You don't care about that.
I want it.
Shit. Okay, well let's keep going. Let's go down the list here. Rose, it's fairy fruit. You don't want to touch that stuff. You don't know where it's been. Freya's, those don't look like normal fruits. You swear that might look like an apple, but why is it growing two other apples out of its side? Why is it covered in spikes? That's not right. Various and Flicks, as you're kind of passing by some of these open crates and stuff like that, you kind of peer in. Various, you don't know exactly what these are. You've never encountered anything like this before. They look like fruit. They have the shape, the smell of it too, but the colors, the shapes, just the way they look are all wrong. You couldn't swear that you see a bright blue one with purple polka dots. Like, someone would eat that? Flex, you know what these are. That's goblin fruit. That's a very staple, typical fey fruit that's usually pretty safe to eat so long as the person selling it knows what it does. And they can have some special properties here or there. But you could also easily get one that could do something really nasty. That's pretty common, though. At least from what you can gather, Flex. They're probably setting up for a goblin market here in the city.
I'm gonna take a few.
You're just gonna take them?
Are they growing off a tree?
No, they're in crates.
Oh!
Because it's a market being set up.
Oh, yeah, no, I won't take them then.
These are mine now.
I thought it was a tree.
Check for orange halflings.
Walks up to the shop owner, just takes it in front of them, being like, "Ah, yes, what a lovely bearing box of fruits," and walks off.
No. And then there's people going back and forth carrying different crates full of different varying colors of fruit. There's some that are setting them up into stalls and whatnot, but you guys kind of pass this by. So that's a little strange. Various, those are definitely not something you've ever seen before. Euphraeus, you don't know what those are. They're weird, though.
What has science done?
What has science done?
There is no science here.
This is all magic and genetic manipulation
True.
through magic.
Eventually, though, you do reach the palace. Distractions aside, She opened it by herself! Distractions aside, the guards recognize you from a week prior. You, of course, show the badges to the more uncertain ones before you enter the castle proper. Stop it! Stop it! No! Enough! As you enter the castle itself, nothing much has changed. The lights remain dull, the dust still remains settled on pretty much every inch of the palace itself. Where do you want to go from here? You're currently in the center foyer. There is, of course, the second floor. There are several other rooms for you to visit. There is, of course, the front foyer, which you're in here right now. There's the dining hall, the ballroom, the servants' quarters, the gardens, though you only saw them in passing on the way to the dungeons. You couldn't really quite access them. You could see them through the windows, though. There's the kitchens, and of course the throne room on the base floor. And then, of course, the upper rooms. You got the prince's rooms, Amelia's room, and the guard towers. Where do you want to search first?
I think we had to talk to the queen first about Rose's whole magical spell.
Yeah, there was that. Rose did want to talk to Reginald about a couple of things as well then, but that can be whenever.
So, where does the group want to head first?
I think to the queen first.
Yeah, I think it's the queen.
Alright, so you start to head upstairs, and of course it's the usual. There's guards everywhere. And the queen's room is, of course, guarded. But all you need to do is give a flash of the badge, and they'll usher you in. The queen seems to be enjoying a light tea, as well as what looks to be a scone or two. A simple breakfast. Bella, I swear to God. And, you guys enter, and of course the door closes behind you. And the queen doesn't say anything out the gate. She takes a sip of her tea before she kind of sets the cup down on the saucer and slowly looks at you. Oh, you're back. I was actually surprised when you didn't show up the day after we had spoken.
Yes, our apologies for that. There was some other business that interfered.
Frace is going to place a hand on Rose's shoulder in honesty.
Yeah, we got plastered, but that's neither here or there. We're feeling much better much now.
We
But
got caught at a Fae party.
Oh, yes, the Midsummer Festival is happening right now. You seem to have someone new with you, though. She's kind of motioning at Flix.
Oh, I thought they still had their
Nope.
skies up for Luminosa.
This is
Flicks.
now.
And she kind of tilts her head to the side. It's like, curious, you share the name that one of my sons have.
Yep.
Interesting. Cat.
She just throws the cat. She eats the cat out of the castle.
Yeah.
Sorry, she is being incredibly naughty right now. Yes, she is.
cat be like, you keep me from my throne, I'll keep you from your game.
Stop it.
This is called vengeance. It's
A glass case is not a toy, Bella. No, it's not. No, it's not.
You
Come
just
here, you
aren't
little
trying
shit.
hard enough.
Nova, to a cat, everything's a toy.
I'm aware. But yeah, the queen kind of tilts her head as she looks at you, Flex. It's like, I wouldn't be surprised if someone named someone else after my son. It is a popular name after all. A lovely name.
Would you happen to have any pictures of your eldest child?
Not since he was younger, no.
Even when he was younger?
And she kind of gets up and moves over to her armoire before pulling out what looks to be a small envelope.
Yes,
And
what was the name of the individual that you work for?
Jericho?
Thank you.
And she pulls out what looks to be a couple of pictures. And one of them is a family photo. There is, of course, her, and a very stern, tall-looking, almost high elven man, but there is obvious uncanniness to them. The armor they wear, the regalness, probably tells you that this was the king. But more importantly, there are two young children at her side. They look slightly identical. One just has shorter ears. One has, the shorter one with shorter ears also has golden colored hair. It's hard to make out any distinct details outside of the fact that the two children look almost identical. Almost.
What
Outside of
color are
the...
their eyes?
From what looks to be, the one with the auburn colored hair has similar colored eyes. So auburn with auburn, orange and orange. And the child with the golden colored hair has golden colored eyes. And the more you look at Amelia, you notice that she also has those same features. Golden hair, golden eyes.
Just out of curiosity, your eldest disappeared at some point on his own volition, going on a grand adventure, from what we heard.
That is what we have assumed. Reginald followed shortly after. Though, unlike our eldest, Reginald actually told us where he was going.
How long ago did he disappear?
It's been a long time.
By chance,
Time is a difficult thing to measure here, especially considering the nature of how long our lives are. And sometimes time does tend to meld together into one long string of events. But at the very least, I know that it has been some time.
Been a
By
long
now, he would
time.
probably
What-
be a young adult, I would say.
just out of curiosity, an individual named Jericho you wouldn't have known during your son's departure?
No, I know no one by that name.
Bloody twins. What's the name when he goes all loopy?
Okay, I
Mercurio.
can't remember it.
Mercutio?
Mercutio?
Yep,
No,
it's
it's named
Mercutio.
Sorry, what is it?
Yep, the gentry Jericho becomes when he loses his mind is Mercutio, yes.
It's Mercutio, yeah.
Mercutio.
What about a gentry named Mercutio?
And you see her eyes suddenly become hard. Her long ears pin back a little bit. We do not speak that gentry or its partner's name here in Wonderland. They are tyrants and are banned from the city. They are very similar to many other warmongering gentry, and unless they broker peace, they are not to be allowed in here. We know the Cobalt Prince's names, but please do not bring them up to us.
One other
We're
question.
sorry to.
No. Answers need to be had right now. Would they be powerful enough to wipe the memory of somebody with Archfey blood?
It is possible that they may have such a thing, but I've never once seen them use it. The last time I saw a gentry utilize such a thing was... And you see your scowl, Ringmaster. But he has not been seen for ages.
We're
Ring?
sorry to have brought you distress, but we've thought of an idea of how to further the investigation, but we've been told we need to get your permission first.
Yes, like Frias is saying, we
not
we
the
believe
ring.
we believe that through divinatory means we may be able to find a lead as to your husband's murderer. Then, but we did want to make sure that if were such thing to occur, then that you would abide by it, and also that we would have any witnesses on hand in case we need to pursue further action as a result of such.
Sorry, can you repeat that? I was typing out the info for you.
Yeah. Rose is speaks and says to the queen after Freeze is done talking.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Okay.
we Yes, for reason I believe we may be able through divinatory means to find a lead to your husband's murderer. We were informed by Sire Lionheart that they get your permission to do so, and also to have witnesses on hand in case our findings do need to be used for more intense parts of the investigation.
I see. Is there a space that you require for such a ritual? I'm afraid I am not very skilled in magic to know these things offhand.
A ritual, some kind of space, set up for a ritual would be most desirable. I did ask Lionheart about that before.
I can certainly prepare a space, yes. But as of right now, most of the main rooms are in lockdown under investigation, so you will need to speak to the leader of the investigation in order to get permission. But if it does help the investigation, I will allow it.
Actually, that does bring up another question. I think it may also help out with the ritual itself. Then, how far back does the throne that your husband occupied? Then, how long has it existed for?
It's existed since Wonderland was built. It has played host to many different rulers. My husband was simply the latest one. It was meant to be handed off to our eldest son once he became of age, but then he disappeared.
Right. And what?
Was they a terrible king? I'm not arguing that.
Anyways.
I think the gods can whisper right now.
Yeah, you can whisper it again.
What would it take for something to be able to damage the throne enough to cause a like a sizable dent or even a hole through it?
The only thing that comes to mind is a weapon wielded with cold iron.
Interesting.
But such a weapon is illegal here in Wonderland.
Right. Well, that makes sense.
Well, criminals don't tend to do things legally, to be fair.
She kind of nods, like, oh, we've looked into the black market under the city, and not even they would have traded such a weapon.
I'm sorry. Why is cold iron a bad thing?
Hurts Faye.
No, more so, it kills Faye.
That's even worse.
I have something to ask.
Of course.
Would any group that is... Have you had any problems with a group known as the Mages Guild?
She shakes her head. I'm afraid not, no. At most, I have heard whisperings between individuals who have come from another plane between them and my husband, but no sorts of that operate here, as far as I'm aware.
Do you know of any way one might restore their lost memories if they had been stolen by powerful magics?
They would have to go to the one that cast it and get them back. If they haven't already been either eaten or destroyed in the process. Dream eaters are a thing, after all. But your best bet would be to find whoever was afflicted, to find the perpetrator and get those memories back from them directly. As I said, the last gentry I was aware of that could do such a thing was known as Ringmaster, but he was dethroned, his titles stolen, and no one exactly knows where they are or if they even live anymore.
I think I've heard that name before. Oh well. Yeah,
We should get
I
going
have to
with
go
the
and
investigation.
examine. Go ahead.
What was that? What was that?
Oh, I was saying we should get going with the investigation.
All right. Do you wish to leave the Queen's chamber, or do you want to talk to her a bit more?
I'd like to talk to her a little more.
I think
Go
Freyas is
for it.
trying to insist we stop talking now.
Reyes, come with me. I need your eyes, all 4 of them.
Looks at the group, looks back at Tiberius. All right. Lead the way.
And what would you like to speak to her about further, Flex?
He's kind of in this position where he's sort of like, I should know who this person is, but I don't, and I feel really bad about it.
Yeah, you're drawing nothing but blanks. It's like there's a gaping hole where you're sure memories are supposed to be, but there's just static.
Like the last however many years I've been alive.
Yeah, pretty much. The only thing you can really remember is working under Jericho. Nothing before that.
And they've never heard the name, they never heard his name other than the prince title.
No.
That's
Nope.
not good. That's worrisome.
And now apparently you know about a gentry that used to not only take memories but eat them. Hmm. Hmm.
So I'm gonna ask her if she knows where the last whereabouts of this ringmaster were.
And as she kind of watches Tiberius drag Prius out of the room, Rose Varius, are you going along with him or are you staying with Flix? Rose Varius?
Rose will. Rose would like to stay in the room for the moment.
Varius?
Various will give them some privacy.
Okay,
Oh.
so you're gonna follow Tibbs and Frias?
Yes.
Okay. As you leave
Yeah.
the room,
Mm-hmm.
leaving Rose and Flix to speak with the Queen. Flix, as you ask your question, the Queen's gaze hardens. She almost seems to be thinking, the last time we saw that snake, well, was at the edge of Wonderland about 100 years ago. We had been dealing with some of his ghastly creations. The way he operated was he stole away both mortal and fey alike, would take away their memories and turn them into twisted circus aberrations for his circus of nightmares. And he had tried to encroach on some of our land in order to try to kidnap more people, as one thing Wonderland does pride itself on is that we do hold a stable connection to the material plane. Outsiders, mortals, and the like are free to come and go as they please, as long as they know the right channels, and he wanted to abuse that. It was... My husband led that charge. I still remember watching from my window, ensuring my sons it was going to be alright. Many people died that day. But we had managed to push him back as he slinked into the shadows, never to be seen again.
Is
I was
there a
left.
chance that he had cursed you or said you'd rue the day sort of thing and plan to attack a family member?
I wouldn't put it past him. But as I said, no one has seen height nor hair of that monster ever since then.
And was that around the same time your son disappeared?
No. No, our son disappeared several years later. As I've said, that is the last time he has been seen.
Yeah, hopefully, Your Majesty, these questions are not too out of line, but we do have our reasons. We believe, even if tangentially, these what we're discussing here may also be linked to the current unrest in Wonderland. So I just want to
Of course.
let you know these are not just questions that we were asking out of the blue.
I'm aware. This is not the first time these have been brought up with the other investigators. There have been some that have also believed them to be linked in some way or form. But as far as I know, those investigations did turn out blank, but if you're able to just find anything at all.
There actually is one other thing that does come to mind. We were made aware through, at the very least, that the throne room is magically warded to prevent any sort of movement by magical means inside or outside of it. Then would there perhaps be any other accessible ability into it besides just the front door? Then even like a secret passage or some kind of escape hole that maybe was put in case the king was in danger or something like that.
She looks baffled. I don't know. I'm not exactly a spry young woman that I used to be. I don't exactly go around crawling around the inner crevices of the palace. I tend to stay in only a few rooms, and nothing really comes to mind, I'm afraid.
I see.
If there was, you would have to go through the castle archives, but those are currently under lock and key.
One last question, Your Majesty. With your eldest son missing and the youngest charged for the murder of the king, who would take over the throne at that point? With the line out of the way.
It would fall to the monarchs to decide the next ruler.
And who right now is in the best position for said?
It's hard to say, but I know that there has been talk amongst the courts about either electing the Winter Queen or the Spring Monarch. Those two have been in the running for a while. Mostly the Winter Queen, as she's always been a very close friend of the family. And the Spring Monarch, his usual antics. Of course, that has enraged the Summer Monarch quite a lot, as he believes that the throne has become impure as of lately. Autumn, though, always continues with their trademark silence on the matter, preferring to stay neutral.
So it would are the monarchs archfey as well?
They are, yes.
Okay. Thank you, Your Majesty.
Of course. Is there anything else I can help you with?
I'm surprised your mom wasn't like, hey, wait a second. That Flix character played a flute the lute that looked a lot like the Flix one.
They're currently the same minded as me. You're cutting them off so they just stop thinking along that line. Squirrel.
Squirrel. But she looks at the two of you. It's like, if that is all, I would like to get some rest.
Of course.
Of course, we'll leave you to that.
And as you guys leave the room, we will turn the camera over to our intrepid little investigators in the throne room. Tiberius, Freus, and of course, Varius, who slowly catches up.
So go ahead, dig around in that hole and find whether or not there's a sliver, Rose. Freys.
And
Ghost
remember,
train.
Miriam,
Train.
and she'll look in there if she has to. If a guard isn't looking, she'll use one of her small knives from her herbalism kit to dig around in there.
Either give me investigation or a sleight of hand.
Sleight of hand is 1, investigation is more, so.
Are you thinking what Rose is thinking, Flix?
What?
I don't know.
You kind of dig around, looking into the hole, but you know something. The wood's not splintered. It's almost as if it was cauterized, burnt. You can't really find any fragments of anything immediate, I'm afraid.
This is actually very interesting. Tiberius, this seems to almost have cauterized the wood.
I'm sorry, did you say it somehow sealed the wound of the wood?
Like,
Oh,
trying to imagine if you try to shine a light in there, you would see that the wood is burnt, slick, lacquered almost. Like whatever pierced through here was hot.
Tiberius, come here.
Ugh.
And
What
she's
is it now?
physically going to lift him up towards the hole.
Ah! Unhand me!
She's not carrying you by the ears, calm down.
Unhand me, vile woman.
But it's the easiest thing to grab.
No! I'm being serious. Serious time.
Right, so it's a hole.
Just place your finger in there, give it a quick rub, and you'll notice that it's almost... I hate talking right now. That's it. The game's over. Bye, guys. I'm leaving the campaign.
I'm sorry.
I think at this point, that's when Tibbs just bites and is just like, put me down.
Well, the ears have like limped to the side, like, what are you even? Fine, I'll check the hole.
And do you take a look inside?
Yeah, he's gonna take a look inside.
Give me an investigation.
Quick sleight of hand.
You're not poking around in it, are you?
Well, she said to poke it, so he's gonna look. If there's nothing obvious, then he's gonna be like, fine, I'll find it myself. Probably get a sliver out of this. If I get a sliver, you're fixing it.
It's a hole. You can see that there's black marks on the inside, but maybe that's just the way the wood is. It's a hole. Whoop-de-doo.
Yes, it's a hole. I'm so glad you brought me to see this up close and personal, Freys.
You realize raw wood would not feel like that, right?
I don't go around touching wood, Freys.
My goodness.
All these Freudian slips, I can't even.
What were you saying, Various?
Freys, can you come and see what Freyas is talking about? It's a hole. I simply wanted to get a piece of whatever weapon did this out of the hole, and she's telling me that it's not a normal hole and that it has been cauterized.
Okay. Just let me through.
Freya's will put Tiberius down and then lift you.
And you need to do the same thing. Depending on how you're looking into this, you need an investigation or sleight of hand. Sleight of hand if you're actually trying to feel around the actual. Okay. You get up there. It's a little dark, so you kind of try to. I would say probably you take a candle from the side to kind of bring it up to actually get a look at something. Instead of just poking around blindly. And indeed, it's almost as if whatever killed the king had not only pierced through him, but was hot enough to burn and almost lacquer the inside of the throne. In fact, the sort of indentation on the other side of the throne would make you wonder that maybe the throne isn't entirely wood, maybe it's metal, but that would mean that whatever pierced the king was hot enough to at least melt the metal enough to cause such an indentation to form.
Okay.
So
I
now you
believe-
know that the weapon was some sort of piercing weapon, but also had some sort of increased heat or maybe even fire enchanted onto it.
I see what she's talking about.
In fact, the more you think about this, the more you remember talking about something called cold iron. There is no way this was cold. Which meant that whatever this weapon was something more.
Right, so it's a
But
hole.
she is right that there's something odd about it.
Ah, so my theory was correct. Don't all applaud at once. I'm right most of the time. Now, what was I right about?
It was something that was overheated to the point that it was melting metal.
And
Or maybe a weapon made of fire.
now, Rose wasn't here. They were with us. So is there another fire primordial around? Or perhaps, which one of these? There are four courts. Let's see. Spring, autumn, winter, summer. Could summer have done this? They have access to fire weapons?
You did say that,
Unless
didn't they? Weren't they saying that the Summer had some sort of grudge?
I believe so.
Summer did not like that they were mixing blood between the king and queen.
And you know that the first one to convict Reginald was the Summer Monarch.
And if they got the sun put under fire, that would take care of the mixed blood issue.
Perhaps we can set a trap for the next assassin. Hear me
There's
out.
going to be no next assassin. The one who's going to be killed is already in line. There's no
Hear...
further assassinations required.
No. Hear me out. The queen said that no one has seen the eldest, who looks remarkably like our Flicks, yes?
This is also a line of questioning that possibly will get him thrown in jail too. Well,
Yes,
them now.
let me finish my thought.
No, you're right. It's a him.
If we were to have Flicks return as his fey self, demanding that he were to receive the throne, he would either be given the throne, giving us enormous amounts of power over the individuals here, or there would be another attempt on his life, and they would believe him to be a fey, whereas he's actually a primordial now, right?
The iron would just hurt a lot, but not kill. Hopefully.
If you think we can put that kind of pressure onto Flicks and possibly shoulder the last of their life, I don't see many other plans.
I would like to point out it would probably assist him in fixing the Jericho situation, and the only one who can truly give him answers is this ringmaster individual, still think I've heard that name before, and
Oh, you
Jericho
have.
himself.
I don't know if you know Auntie's entire employee staff, but that is something we should worry about afterwards.
So, we agreed. Varys, we will discuss with Flix whether or not he wants to make a triumphant return and claim his throne, thereby forcing whomever is against him to show themselves, or muddle around in this for a little bit longer.
As you guys began to talk, eventually Rose and Flix make it to the throne room as well. However, this is where I would like to end it for tonight, as we have one of our players who is currently very tired and fading a little bit. I will say that I will open the in-character, the IC chat, for a little bit of roleplay. You will be limited to the throne room for now, but you are free to discuss your findings in IC if you would like.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to thank all of you for playing tonight. Sorry for ending a little early, but again, I prefer my players' health over continuing to force them to play when they're not all here.
It's not early though.
It's 10:30.
It's only 7:30 for me and the sun is still up.
I have blinds in my window. I see no sun.
So, Flix, how do you feel about impersonating yourself?
I think it's great.
Because I'm sure that won't end
Thank you so hard.
absolutely. Because I'm sure that won't completely end horribly with you trying to impersonate someone that you can't look like anymore.
Nah. Primordials can change their
Especially-
shape. It's fine.
Especially against creatures that can see through that stuff, considering the queen has true sight.
It's fine. The populace just needs to know.
This is the DM saying that I would worry if you tried to do that. I'd be very scared.
I mean, all he has to say is, "Yeah, I was killed by the Manor Lord, and this is what I am now."
This is gonna end so well.
And I'm sure that won't go any wrong.
Don't worry, Mom. Not that bad, but I died a month ago.
A month and a
But-
week.
But I'm back in
I'm back.
primordial form.
I'm
Is that
back,
like Bob?
bitches.
Like Hog.
But that also will be ending tonight. Jin, please go get some rest. But I want to thank all of you guys for playing tonight.
Thank you, Nova, for hosting.
Thank you.
Next time,
No.
depending on how you decide to go about things, there may be a special guest in our future.
The gasp.
A special guest, yes. They know who they are.
Oh.
Stairs.
Is it the cat?
No.
Yeah, the cat's won
Night,
so far.
guys.
Good night, Jin.
Good night,
Good-
Jin. Rest
good
well.
night.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Night.
Good night, everyone.
To
Pull the plug. Pull the plug.
let's see.